Valerie's life had been anything but sweet. Her father died a hero in a conflict zone when she was just a little girl. Her mother, Veronica, raised her alone, struggling to make ends meet. Veronica was frail and often spent months on sick leave until employers would gently suggest that they didn't need perpetually ill workers. After getting laid off, her mother would lock herself in her room and cry into her pillow, helpless. Money was always tight. Sometimes dinner was nothing more than bread dipped in salted sunflower oil or plain pasta. At school, she was the worst-dressed kid in her class. Children can be cruel. They say what they see. Valerie was an outcast. The other girls constantly whispered about her shabby clothes, and she grew used to the snickers about the mended sweater she wore yet again. When Valerie turned 14, her mother passed away. Her Aunt Clara, her mother's sister, took her in. But life didn't get any better. Her aunt called her a freeloader and a lazybones, though Clara herself showed no interest in either working or housekeeping. She quickly realized that Valerie was old enough to be put to work. The aunt burdened her niece with all the household chores and even sent her to the local store to buy wine on credit from her best friend who worked there. This friend had a son. Aunt Clara was fiercely envious of their family's wealth and would often ask Valerie if she liked the boy, but the girl would just remain silent. When Valerie came of age, Clara began to pressure her relentlessly, painting a picture of a comfortable life married to her friend's son, thinking more of her own well-being than her niece's. One day, Valerie couldn't take it anymore. "I'm not going to solve your financial problems," she declared, slamming the door behind her. When she returned, Sue packed her few belongings, grabbed a piggy bank her aunt didn't know about, and most importantly, her father's military medals, the only memory she had of him. The money was enough to rent a modest room and buy food for a short while. In a free newspaper, Valerie found a job listing for a cleaner. She was hired on the spot. The company had a toxic work environment, and cleaners never stayed long. As soon as she started, she ran into Mariana, a beautiful but incredibly malicious young woman, the office queen. "What is that stench?" Mariana yelled. "Can't you smell that your mop reeks of rot? Go and rinse it properly now." Walking past two young men, Valerie overheard them whispering, checking her out. Despite her worn-out clothes, her delicate figure and soft beauty were noticeable. She had kind features, large gray eyes, and light hair pulled back in a ponytail. Mop in hand, she reminded the men of a poor Cinderella. They didn't know Mariana had excellent hearing. The moment Valerie was gone, she was gleefully dissecting every piece of Valerie's old wardrobe with her colleagues. Valerie wanted to quit, but the thought of being penniless stopped her. Every day at work was torture. Mariana had turned almost the entire office against her. Only one young man, Ian, the one who had called her Cinderella, sympathized with her. One evening, he waited for her after her shift and invited her to a cafe. They had a wonderful time talking, and Ian seemed kind and genuine. But the next day, one of Mariana's friends cornered her. "You fool. Do you know who you're messing with? Ian is Mariana's boyfriend. They're getting married. She will destroy you if she finds out." And Mariana did find out. The next day, as Valerie entered their department, a song about a second-hand girl started playing. Mariana, with a deadpan expression, loudly asked where one could buy such a vintage sweater, calling her worn-out shoes museum relics. The others snickered politely, not wanting to get on the ambitious woman's bad side. Ian was there too. He avoided her gaze and laughed along with everyone else. He was ashamed, but was too afraid of ruining his relationship with his future boss. After this public humiliation, Mariana left Valerie alone for a while. The girl wanted to quit, but HR informed her that according to her contract, she had to work for a full month to get paid. She had to stay. One day, a tiny white kitten miraculously found its way into the office. Kind-hearted Valerie couldn't leave it on the street. She hid it until the end of the day and took it home, naming him Martin. With her money almost gone, she shared her last drops of milk with the kitten. On payday, the big boss of the entire company, Nikolai, paid a visit. Mariana immediately rushed towards him, accidentally knocking over a cup of coffee that fell under her desk. "Hello, Nikolai," she cooed. "You know, our HR department has been hiring just anyone. The new cleaner does a terrible job. We're living in a pigsty." She pointed to the coffee stain. "You see, she completely ignores my workspace." The boss frowned. "Come to my office," he said curtly to Valerie. "Why is there a mess?" "I don't know where the stain came from," Valerie stammered. "They just don't like me here. Mariana is always picking on me. She probably did it on purpose to get me fired." "And who are you? State your name." Valerie told him her last name. Hearing it, the boss started. "And your father's name?" "Yuri. He died." "In the North Caucasus," the boss finished for her. "He was my friend, a captain. He saved my life, pulled me out from under fire." He was silent for a long time. "So, she's been bullying you? We'll sort this out. Go on, get back to work. A hero's daughter shouldn't be scrubbing floors. You're going to get an education." That day, Valerie ran home, her feet barely touching the ground. She had received her first salary and a generous bonus. Her first stop was the pet store, where she bought pâté and a toy for Martin. The next day, everything had changed. A different woman was cleaning the floors. Valerie had been promoted to an operator position. That evening, the boss called her into his office again and handed her a set of keys. "These are for my second apartment. You'll live there. My friend's daughter shouldn't be living in rented rooms." "Oh, but I have a kitten. Can I bring him?" Nikolai laughed. "Bring an alligator for all I care." After moving into the spacious 3-bedroom apartment, Valerie felt like she was flying to work. The boss treated her like his own daughter, seeing her as his successor. He insisted she enroll in a university to study economics. Seeing this transformation, Ian found the courage to break up with the now fired Mariana and try to get back with Valerie. But she knew his true worth now. She met his invitation with a cold, brief refusal. How could I have ever liked him? She wondered. What is there to him besides a thickly sweet face? One day, while buying food for Martin at the pet store, Valerie accidentally knocked a can off a shelf. A strong male hand deftly caught it in midair. "You buy the good stuff," the tall stranger said with an approving nod. "I try. I love him," Valerie smiled. "Me too. My cat, I mean." Less than 10 minutes later, they were chatting like old friends. His name was Archie. He got her jokes, and she loved his openness. He walked her home, and they stood by her building for a long time, unable to part. Valerie couldn't sleep all night, thinking of him. The next morning, for the first time in a long while, she didn't want to go to work. She wanted to run to the pet store to find Archie. They hadn't even exchanged numbers. Imagine her surprise when she walked out of her building and saw him standing there. "I couldn't leave," he said. "I just ran home to feed my cat and came right back. I watched your window all night." He pointed to the second-floor windows. "And you were awake too. I saw the light on. It's fate, you see. You're mine and I'm yours. End of story," Archie said, pulling her close and breathing in the scent of her hair.